Hey, Steve Imke here of SteveBizBlog. Hey, most of the clients that I see are what you would call non-employer businesses. They represent about three-quarters of all the registered businesses in the United States. And essentially what a non-employer business means is the owner of the business is essentially the only employee. But if you're the only employee in your business, does that mean that you have to do all the work yourself? Well, I say no. I tell my clients all the time that it's important to understand a little bit about what you're wanting to get done, but to hire an expert. You don't have to be a CPA, but you have to know a little bit about accounting to hire a bookkeeper or maybe a CPA. You don't have to be a programmer, but you have to know a little bit about what you want, perhaps in a program or on a website or something along that line. So when it comes to those types of functions, there are basically four platforms that I generally recommend. One of them is guru.com. The other one is freelancer.com. The other one is TopTal. And the other one is Upwork, which is the one that I use principally. Each one of those platforms has their pluses and minuses. But what I'd really like to do is perhaps do a little bit more of a deep dive in Upwork. There's a couple different ways that you can use this. One way, if you were, let's say, trying to hire, let's say, a bookkeeper, we could push in the actual title of the talent that we're looking for. There's other options that I can do here for projects, but for the most part, people are going to be looking for a talent to do a particular job. What'll happen as soon as I push in the talent, I'm going to get a variety of different people that have listed themselves as bookkeepers. As their freelancing jobs. One of the things I look for on the side here, this is a tool you can use irrespective of actually hiring somebody, is to see approximately where the range of their hourly rate is concerned. So as you can see, the vast majority of people actually fall into, from an international standpoint, which is what we have right now, between basically $0 and $10. So by moving this slider bar, I can now change whoever's in this box here and within the realm that I want within that slider. I next get opportunity, I can select various skills. So I want people who have the word bookkeeper. Maybe I'm using Inuit QuickBooks, and so I only want people who are experts in QuickBooks to be on there. And so now you can see I have all the people that show up on that. You notice that the hourly rate kind of changed a little bit as I went ahead and I removed QuickBooks here. You see when people want to know QuickBooks or have the QuickBooks skills, it gets a little bit more expensive in some cases. But this is generally not how you're going to find, or you might find talent this way, but this is generally not how you're going to hire them. You obviously, if you really like this person, you could hire them, invite them to a job. One of the things I also look for whenever I scan these is I'll roll my mouse cursor over their earnings. And like this gentleman right here, I can see he's done 71 hourly jobs, 14 fixed price jobs, and he's worked over 12,000 hours. That's quite a bit. Now, why is this important? Because in my estimation, when we begin to look at how well this person does, if I were to click on this, I can now look at various reviews that they have. And you can see here, this is 4.5, 4.6, 5.0. If I wanted to even drill down a little bit more, let's say this 4.6 and say, why did he not get 5 stars? I can click on that, I look at the feedback, and I can see him relative to his skills, his availability, his communications, his quality, and this might be some factors that I might choose. Now, again, I show you this because when you're going to be receiving responses to your job, this is essentially what you're going to be seeing are a variety of different people like that you are now going to figure out which one you would like to hire. But when I'm actually going to post this job, I'm going to come up here to jobs. I'm going to post a new job. And so say we're talking about a bookkeeper here. We probably were going to hire them for a project that we hope they'll stay on for a long period of time. So that would be a long-term project. A short-term project might be something, maybe I just need some data entry work, or maybe I need somebody to be a website designer for me, and I hope to have the work done within 3 months, so it might be a short-term project. But since we're going to go create a job for a bookkeeper, we're going to click on the long-term project. Then we scroll to the bottom of the screen and we hit continue. We're now going to give this job a job title because you may have several different freelancers that work for you and you'll want to be able to sort them out. Maybe you'll recognize their names, but we want to create a description for a project that is easy to understand. So we might just say bookkeeper as our project. As you scroll down here, there's other options that you can do. But for the most part, all we really need to do is put a title in there. So now our next one is going to hit skills. So you have the opportunity to put 10 different skills. Obviously, we want bookkeeping in there. If we had mentioned earlier, maybe we're using QuickBooks, so we might want to scroll down here. You can always see more, but obviously we see the QuickBooks already here, so I can click QuickBooks. And now the people that are going to receive this invitation are only people who have skills in QuickBooks and skills as a bookkeeper. Next, we're going to go to scope. We talked a little bit about how long this was going to take. Hopefully, I'm going to hire a bookkeeper. He's going to be around, or she's going to be around for a long period of time. So I might say more than 6 months. At this point, we're now looking at what skill levels do we want? Do we want somebody who's entry level? Those are people maybe charging, $3 to $5 an hour. Maybe intermediate might be a little bit more. And certainly experts, as we looked on that scale, will probably be in the $20+ an hour. But let's choose intermediate at this point. We can always change our mind later. In Upwork, we also have the ability to eventually convert this individual to a full-time employee, but in all likelihood, we're probably going to be hiring somebody because we're talking mostly about, micro businesses or freelancers, and so we're probably not going to want to hire somebody directly, in which case it would probably have to be U.S.-based. We're probably going to look at offshore as well, so we'll check the box generally that says not hiring full-time at this time. The next we get to choose a location. Again, here we have the option of US-based only or worldwide. If in fact I was going to probably turn this into a full-time hire, I would probably want to hire only in the US, and I might be, because maybe I'm in Colorado, I only want somebody who's in Colorado to be able to see this. But in most cases, these tasks are highly fungible with the world communications that we have today. Worldwide is going to get you some pretty good talent offshore. We could select very specific regions if we choose to, but most of the time it's just worldwide is fine. Next, we get a chance to define the budget. We have either fixed price or we have hourly rate, as you can see there. A fixed price might be, maybe I'm going to design a website, and that's generally a shorter term project because they come in, they develop the website, and then they're gone. So that might be something I would probably want to hire as a fixed price. But if I don't have a lot of scope, I don't exactly know how much the work's going to be, I might choose an hourly rate. An hourly rate, I'm going to maybe I might select somebody as low as $5 an hour to $20. You can see here, this is this kind of the sweet spot here anyway. As we start to move up, the talent gets to be smaller. So this is definitely the sweet spot. So next we're going to type in a description. The description needs to be a certain number of characters. You would generally write a description of what you want, but for right now I'm just going to fill the text with just some gobbledygook here in order to get past the number of characters that's required. And the next piece is I'm going to review my job. And at this point, I'm going to just make sure that my description makes sense, my categories make sense, everything is ready, and then at that point, I'm going to be ready to post a job. So now that the job has been posted and a couple days have gone by, it's now time to review the number of proposals that you've received. Now, I'm using an older one right here. This is a job that I already posted for an editor a while back. And as you can see, after probably about 2 days, I had received 24 proposals and I closed off. I did not want any more people to apply. And so this is a kind of a list of all the different people that applied. And you can see that in some cases it'll list the dollar value, but some of them will have how much they've earned on the platform. Of course, you can read any of their descriptions, and if you really like them, you can hire them against the job. But another way, since there's 24 of them, I might want to filter them. And so these are some ways that you can filter the proposals that you did in fact receive. And since many of the people that I hire as assisting on me or for my projects are offshore, I'm going to be looking to understand what their English level is. So I may insist that I only want people who are fluent or maybe even native and bilingual. Another factor I look at is related to earned amount. Because I want people to have earned money on the platform to generate reviews, I'll generally want to pick a number, maybe $1,000 or $10,000 on the platform. That guarantees that I'm going to have some genuine reviews from people. Another way that I might be able to limit the number of ones that I look at might be, maybe I only want to look at people who are $10 and below, or maybe that's too low. Maybe it's $10 to $30. Maybe it's just hours workable. Those types of things. So whatever you want, maybe you only want to limit it to freelancers. But for right now, I'm going to clear all these filters, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to look at the different types of applicants here. Now you'll see that some applicants come through here. You can see the information like this gal right here. She's from South Africa. She's charging $10. She's done about 70,000 on the platform. And this guy is here $6, which is maybe more in line with what I'm looking for. He's earned 20,000. But now I want to do a little bit of research on him before I extend him an offer. And this is one of the places where the true power really comes out. Now, I will tell you that one of the things that I always ask them to do is to provide a cover letter that addresses my particular needs. So as you can see, this is this individual's cover letter, as he wrote to me, that says he's probably going to be the candidate who will be most successful if I were to hire him. I can also look here at more details around his work history. So here you can see this one here, he worked as a SEO content writer. It looks like for some type of plumbing company, $10 an hour. He worked $20 hours. The amount there, no feedback given. But here, this is another one he has. You see this is 4.8. I can drill down just like we showed before, and I can see what they said about him. Here was the job description. Sometimes they even have feedback from the client more specifically. So you're going to use all this information. Once you find the person that meets your requirements, perhaps you may want to think that this is the right person, but you really want to have a conversation with him. There are ways that you can converse with him through a messaging thing, because again, this job is closed, but if it wasn't closed, you would have the opportunity to message them and ask them for more information, explain something that maybe they included in the cover letter, and so on and so forth. But once it's all done, then it's a simple matter of hitting the hire button, and now you've hired that particular individual. So the next thing I want to show is, if a person is working for you, one of the issues is, how do I actually know if the person's really working or they're charging me on hourly rates since I can't see them? Well, this is one of the reasons I really like Upwork. So these are my team members here. So let's just pick my very first one right here. You can see that Arful here is in Bangladesh. He worked a few hours for me this week. So if I go here and I'm looking at the contract right here, I can see here that my contract rate with him is $11.11. He's worked 4.49 hours this week. If I wanted to look very specifically at the message timesheet that he has, I can scroll down. And let's just say here, Friday, he worked on it for 1 hour and 40 minutes. If I click on it, I can see the times. This is between 1:50 p.m. and 2:10 p.m., 20-minute time frame. I can see screenshots of what he's done. So this is a screenshot, so I know he's on my website. I can see that in this time frame, that it, was for just those few minutes, he put in 25 keystrokes, 16 mouse clicks. In that minute, 26 keystrokes here, 26 mouse clicks. I can see that he's actively working during those times. And you can see I have many of them. So this is the 7:40 to 7:50. This is the 8 o'clock. Each and every one of them, I now know what he has been doing. Likewise, you can send messages between different people. So let's pick another one of my vendors. I don't communicate with him on this particular platform using the onboard Upwork Messenger app. I use, because we do a lot of work, I'm using actually Slack to communicate. But here's a good example of a gal who's my editor, who I do in fact send messages to quite a bit. So if I see her contacts there, I might click to messages, and here you can see how the messages that we've sent recently. So here is a blog post. I've asked her to, she's an editor for me, and I've instructed her, I've uploaded the document, I've asked her to edit it. Here you can see I had a conversation with her about capitalization. This is her response, and so on and so forth. So in conclusion, I hope you can see how valuable a tool like Upwork can be, especially if you're a freelancer and you're one of the roughly 3/4 of the registered businesses out there. While I generally tell people there are 4 of them out there, each one has their pluses and minuses. And Upwork, for me, is the one that fits me the best. And this is the one that I use and generally recommend to most of my clients. I hope this has been beneficial for you, and have a wonderful day.